What's good, everybody? We are back. It's your boy on it off like a clutch again 24/7. We are back with another video here with the Rob Gaming. How we doing, sir?
Great, thank you for having me.
Here today, we already showed you guys all of the great teams of how to build them up. Who is the best teams to use in CFM? And today, why not we have the Rob Gaming show you guys how great the New York Giants are. I will not be saying that again. 82 overall defense, 72 overall offense for a 78 overall altogether. How do you feel about that?
I definitely feel the defense should definitely be a little bit higher, especially with the additions of like Adoree Jackson, how well James Bradbury played last year, Logan Ryan, and stuff like that. I definitely feel like it should have been at least an 85. The offense, I also feel should be higher than a 72. I'd probably say like a
76.
70, you know, yeah, 76, 78 is where I think it should be. Obviously, because you got Saquon coming back, who didn't really play last year, so I don't expect him to have a really high overall. But you are bringing in a high caliber wide receiver like Galladay. You know, they drafted Tony. You're bringing in Kyle Rudolph. And obviously you had the progression as far as with the ratings from Andrew Thomas, Shane Lemieux, you know, Nick Gates, and so on and so forth. So I feel like they should have been a little bit higher overall, especially on both sides of the ball, for sure.
All right. Highest rated overall player, James Bradbury at a 90 overall with 90 speed. Then we got Saquon, and then not a huge drop, but there's definitely a gap between Galladay and Saquon. And overall, how do you feel about these ratings so far?
I'm not very pleased. I mean, with Galladay, obviously he was hurt last year, you know, so he missed a good portion of that. So I would probably say like an 85, 88 is roughly about good. James Bradbury, I definitely feel should have been higher. I think he definitely should be the highest overall on the team. I would have probably given him like a 92, 93 overall. Saquon Barkley having a 90 overall, that's actually pretty nice, especially being that he missed last year. What I do not like about this is how when you look at the ratings, I'm not seeing guys like Blake Martinez. I am not seeing guys like Leonard Williams with a high overall. I mean, Leonard Williams had 11.5 sacks last year, and Blake Martinez, I believe, was second in the NFL in total tackles. He may have even been number one. So I'm definitely a little bit disappointed with not seeing those two guys a little bit higher up on the overall chart for sure.
Alrighty, as we go here to the quarterbacks, we got Daniel Jones at a 72, probably starting out. I will be shocked if he's a star. Most likely he is a normal with 88 speed and 87 throw power. Throw power doesn't get him there, but that speed definitely can get him outside the pocket.
For sure. I mean, Daniel Jones has definitely, you know, showed that he's pretty quickly. I believe that if they put tripping or falling, he would definitely be a 99 because he trips over his own feet.
Oh, give him the Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, you know, no, well, I mean, it was against the Eagles when he did trip, but we're not going to talk about that. I do feel that he was a little bit, even with the 72 overall, I get he had a really bad year last year. I would have given him like a 75. I think he should have had at least like a 75 overall. I think 72 is a little bit, but when you really think about it, even like when Eli was still there, they still gave Eli like a 72 overall. You know, like they didn't really give Eli like a high overall either. And so they never give the Giants quarterbacks any love and regs, and that's kind of unfortunate. I'm not saying he should have been an 80, but I think he should have been like a 75, 76.
Now, if you're going here through a CFM with other users, knowing that you don't have the gunslinger, the hot route master, the escape artist, do you look for another quarterback, or do you actually stick with Daniel Jones and build him up?
It kind of really depends. It's hard not to kind of really look at another quarterback, seeing what, like, you know, what you can get. You know, maybe could you bring in and make something happen for like a Justin Fields? You know, could you bring in a young guy that may be a little bit higher overall? You know, do you go, you know, try to bring in somebody with, you know, a little bit more of a pocket passer? You know, so could you go in and try to find maybe like a a Joe Burrow, or something like that. Me personally, I'm a firm believer in kind of building up. So I think that Daniel Jones could be pretty glitchy with the 88 speed and 87 throw power, which those things can level up. You can get that up there. You have a couple of good years, you might be able to actually get him, to a superstar. I'm not saying an X factor, but you could probably definitely get him to a superstar if you have a pretty good year with him and develop him a little bit more. Could be pretty glitchy.
Definitely. Now, as we go here to the running backs, Saquon with 92 speed. Feel like they always give him around that 91, 92 speed every year. Devontae Booker and Corey Clement. What you think about them as a backup?
I like the Corey Clement. I think he should have been a little bit faster. I would have liked to see him at maybe like 88, 89 speed. He's a pretty good fast guy. Booker, I think, is pretty. The fact that Booker is actually faster than Corey Clement is a little bit mind blowing to me. Booker's more of like a power guy. And with Saquon having the 92, I think he probably deserves at least like 93, 94 speed. We all know that Barkley's a pretty quick guy. So I think he should have had a little bit more speed, but I definitely would have. I like the Clement and Booker as backups. I do wish though that Clement was a little bit faster.
Alrighty. Next up, the wide receivers. Honestly, the best part about the offense. You got John Ross with 96 speed, Darius Slayton, the young goon, with 93 speed, Kadarius Toney with 93 speed, CJ Board, a nice little low budget wide receiver, Dante Pettis, Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard. Weapons.
Oh.
And you got Evan Ingram.
You're making my mouth water. My mouth water.
Oh my gosh.
I actually I like it. John Ross having that 96 speed, that's definitely glitchy right there. We all know John Ross for being pretty quick. I actually kind of think that Kadarius Toney got cheated a little bit. I think Toney's a little bit faster than John Ross. I think maybe they should have had at least. I think Toney should have had 95 or 96 and matched John Ross. Slayton too. Slayton's actually a pretty fast receiver. I mean, 93 is not bad. I would like to see him have 94. When it comes to Kenny Galladay, where's he at? He's got 90 speed. That's not bad. Evan Ingram, I feel like he was faster in other Maddens. I feel like even this year, I think he had like maybe 90 speed. I could be wrong, but I thought he had like 90 speed. I definitely think he's worthy of that. He's a very good fast tight end. And even Sterling Shepard, I mean, they gave him 89 speed. I definitely think he's worthy of like at least 90 speed. He's got some good speed on him. But overall, I think it's a pretty good matchup. Definitely have a lot of speed on the field, when it comes to the skill positions. And that's pretty good, especially with next gen and everything like that. You definitely want to have that speed. I would even put him almost as good as when it comes to speed as the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers, to be honest with you.
Okay. Next, the offensive line. Do we even need to talk about the O-line? Will Hernandez, Andrew Thomas, Nate Solder, Nick Gates starting, Zach
and he retired. I honestly, I am gonna talk about this. I definitely think that they got cheated. Now, the Giants' offensive line is not the greatest in real life, and I get that 100%. But Nick Gates was probably one of the most advanced offensive linemen as far as his progression last year was fantastic. You're talking about a guy moving who played tackle, played guard, and then moved in to playing the center position. Actually played it pretty well and handled that position with making the calls, the adjustments, and getting everything set up in the O-line. I think that he should have had, a higher overall. Same thing with Andrew Thomas. I mean, he was the number 4 pick in the draft last year. I definitely think that giving him only a 70 overall is crazy to me. I definitely think that they got cheated. Do I think that they deserved higher overalls than that? No. But I definitely, like 80 overalls, no. But I definitely do think that they deserved a little bit better when it comes to the overalls for sure.
All right, next up, Leonard Williams at the right end position definitely is a force on that D-line, matched up with Dexter Lawrence and Danny Shelton. Only seeing 2 at each position here on the team. What's up with that?
And this is something where I think Leonard Williams should have definitely been like a 90 or a 91 overall. 11.5 sacks last year, was a dominant force last year. Arguably, probably the third best defensive player that we have on the actual defense itself. That's definitely depressing on that. 72 speed. I think he got cheated there. I think he's a lot faster than that. I think he deserved at least like 75 speed. And I would have put him at a 91 overall. Dexter Lawrence, too. Dexter Lawrence was really, really good last year. He's a young guy. He's quick. He's really good against the run. I would have actually liked to see him at an 84 overall. 84 overall for Dexter Lawrence, I think, would have been fair. 90 to 91 for Leonard Williams. Danny Shelton, you know, I think that's pretty average, or pretty good choice there, in having him at the 78 overall.
Most definitely. Even though they don't have the abilities like an edge threat or an inside zone, they definitely can still get pressure to the quarterback. Now, middle linebacker, 79 overall for Blake Martinez, as you said, should have been a higher overall. Still has 81 speed. One of the best budget outside linebackers with Lorenzo Carter with 88 speed. Even got Carter Coughlin, who I definitely came on the map last year as far as CFMs with that 86 speed. Somebody to stash in as like a backup. And I'm definitely might butcher this name, but O'Shane Niemines?
O'Shane Jimenez, but we call
Jimenez.
him X-Man.
Okay. Talk about it.
So first and foremost, shout out if you watch this, Mr. Blake Martinez. They cheated you bad. 79 overall. The guy had over 140 tackles last year.
Oh, let's go ahead and take a look at this man's tackling. Go ahead and keep talking about it. Let's see his tackles.
I mean, you know, it's the fact that he just got cheated completely hard in his overall and everything like that is unbelievable. 87 tackling. Definitely should have been higher than that. I would even put him at 90, and you gave him a 79 overall. 81 speed, I definitely think is cheating. He should have gotten at least an 84. He's definitely a quick player, no question about it. I like the budgets.
Oh yeah.
Having Zoe on there, 88 speed. You got Azeez Al-Jalari, who they drafted in the second round, 86 speed. X-Man with 86 speed. And I believe also you got Carter Coughlin with 86 speed. They definitely have some budget guys that you can move around, put at the middle linebacker spot, put at the outside spot, users, stuff like that. Definitely give you that edge. So I like it. The speed and the usering ability of the linebacker should have been higher for Blake Martinez for sure.
Here at the DBs, got all the corners, free safeties, strong safeties. Don't really see a lot of speed as we see 3, 6. We have 8 DBs above 90 speed, where I like to have my speed at the DB position. Adoree Jackson, a great addition. Got Aaron Robinson, Chris Milton, Isaac Yadam, Jabril Peppers. Talk to me.
I definitely like the speed on Adoree Jackson. I feel like he should have been a little bit higher overall, maybe like an 83, not an 81. Aaron Robinson, I'm really high on. I definitely think he's going to get a lot of upgrades throughout the year. That was our 3rd round draft pick that we had, and he's physical, he's big. He's got really good tackling, I believe, as well. Could play safety, could play corner, could play in the inside, could play on the number 1. I definitely could actually see him getting a good amount of upgrades and everything like that throughout the course of the year. 87 agility, 90 acceleration, with that 92 speed. I definitely see him going ahead and getting some upgrades throughout the year for his production. When it comes down to the other guys, James Bradbury, like I said earlier, I think he's probably, in my opinion, definitely a top 5 corner in the National Football League, no question about it. His stats, don't hide that. I feel like he got a little bit cheated on his speed, maybe like a 92, 93 for him. 92. I mean, I'm not going to say he's as fast as Adoree, but I definitely think he should have been a higher overall. Jabril Peppers coming in at 81 overall. I would have liked to see him a little bit higher, especially the way we utilized him last year. He played safety, he played linebacker, he played nickel corner, he played in the box, he played cover deep. He did so much last year. He's an agile, he can cover man, he can cover zone. I think he got a little bit cheated as well, but I definitely think especially throughout the course of the year, I wouldn't get so sold on the fact of the overalls, the ratings, and everything like that. I think the Giants are they have a top 3 defense, in my opinion. This is just not me being biased. I think they have a top 3 defense in the National Football League. A lot of those guys are going to be getting upgrades, and they're going to be getting boosts. That is going to be a defense that you're going to want to be using in regs for sure.
Now, when you sit here and have to upgrade this team in a certain position, where would you go first?
Definitely, I would definitely look at. Oh, well, it depends. Depends on the kind of player that you are. Obviously, I would go and I would be looking at the offensive line, for sure. Maybe even the first thing I would be looking at is maybe more of a higher overall or dominant pass rusher on the outside. Seeing what you can get in. Somebody that's physical, has got good strength, good block shedding, and good hit power. Somebody could really kind of come off the edge a little bit, and then have the other side be like one of those glitchy speed guys, like a Zoe or Jimenez or Azeez Ojulari. So I would definitely go with like outside pass rusher, offensive line for sure. I think the skill positions are good. I think you got some good wide receivers. Depending on the type of player that you are, if you're wanting to develop Daniel Jones, maybe you want to try to package in a trade, offer some draft picks, or maybe try to get somebody else. Maybe you could look into doing that. I would probably say, as an overall, definitely outside rusher, offensive line, quarterback. Maybe you could look into getting maybe a higher overall or faster corner if you wanted to. It's tough seeing these ratings now because we don't know what the ratings are going to be, a month from now or 2 months from now. A lot of these guys can get boosts and have some pretty dominant weeks and get some nice overall and attribute increases. So we'll see what happens throughout the course of the year, but those would be my three things that I would focus on: O-line, quarterback, and outside rusher.
Now, if you had to be in trade talks with another team, who on this team would you have to put in that trade to get something big? Do we let go of a Saquon?
No, I'm not letting go of Saquon. I don't really have a good backup. With Devontae Booker and Clement, I don't think really you could, that you can do that. I think you're holding on to Saquon. You maybe can package in a Kenny Galladay if you wanted to, at an 85 overall. Plus, you're going to be freeing up his contract as well. So you could probably package him in there. You got some young guys that you can develop in Slayton and Sterling Shepard, even though he's a little bit older, but he's got some speed. And also you got Kadarius Toney. You could still may be able to progress John Ross too. I mean, John Ross is still pretty young. I think he's like 26, maybe 27. So you can probably get him to, like a bronze or a gold when it comes to his ability. So you could probably still do that. So I'm looking at Kenny Galladay, definitely somebody. Maybe Logan Ryan. He's older. He's only got 86 speed. He's an 83 overall. Safeties are typically, when it comes to franchise, it comes to CFMs and shit like that. It's definitely safeties are lacking, and they do tend to hold a little bit more trade value, where teams actually go ahead and take that. I would even maybe potentially consider Evan Ingram. Maybe.
Wow.
If you feel that you can work with, like, say, a guy like Kyle Rudolph. I think they have a lot of depth at the wide receiver spot, so you may be able to supplement a lot of, maybe losing a guy like Evan Ingram with having Toney and John Ross and Shepard and Slayton and a lot of those other young guys that are a little bit faster. That wouldn't be my decision. I would hold on to Evan Ingram. So I'd be looking at Kenny Galladay, Logan Ryan. Would maybe, if you're a Sterling Shepard too, if you decide you want to keep Galladay, maybe a Sterling Shepard would be somebody that you could look at. I just think you got a lot of young developmental players there. Guys like I said, Slayton, he's an 80 overall. Very easily you could grind that up. Jabril Peppers, Danny Shelton, you could probably get him up a little bit. Sterling Shepard, he's an 82. Dexter Lawrence is an 81. It's kind of hard. You got some good developmental players. Maybe you could look at trading in Dexter Lawrence at an 81. He might have some upside on there where that holds some value. You got BJ Hill that's down there at a 74 overall, so you could probably pop him in with 73 speed, so you're not really losing anything from the speed production. They have similar traits. I think that's 87 strength, where you got Dexter Lawrence, who's got 93, so you're not too far off. And you could probably still develop BJ Hill and get him close to that 80 overall.
Alrighty, last thing for this New York football team, Giants, because you're more known for next-gen gameplay. How would you feel this Giants team will work on next-gen, and how would it work on current-gen, and what is the overall grade for each type of system?
I think for old gen, it may not totally work as well as it would on next gen. I think it would work a lot better on next gen, and the reason why I say that
Wow.
is the wide receivers, and the running backs. I think the way that passing is on next gen, it's a lot smoother. I played both, and when it comes to next gen, the passing's a lot smoother. I don't think that you get some of those animations that you do get on old gen on next gen. Like if you're throwing a corner route, typically on old gen, that corner's going to be able to kind of jump. Like it's going to go through your receiver's hands, and your corner's going to kind of jump on that. I don't really get that a lot in next gen. It's more the corners are pretty OP, the post routes are pretty good, you're stretching the field. Having those like bunch formations where you'll streak Y, you got a post on your B route, and that streak route's getting open. So I think next gen, the Giants team is a huge W in my opinion. From a defensive perspective, if they fix the usering a little bit, I mean, I personally like the user on next gen. A lot of people don't, but I do. I think it's a lot more realistic, causes you to think a little bit more as far as like what you're jumping on, and you can bait a little bit more. I feel like people on next gen, like on old gen, I feel like people go with like their first read all the time. Where on next gen, I feel like people are a little bit more patient throwing the football, so they may try to fake you on a main read and then go to like a drag or an in route or something like that, and you can kind of bait them into that, thinking that you're going to be covering like a known route, and then they're going to throw it, and then they try to throw it to another route and you can pick it off. But I think on next gen, I think that the Giants team is much better. I think on old gen, they're getting drowned out by teams like the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Bucks. I don't feel like they're the 49ers. I just don't think they would stack up on old gen like they would on next gen.
Alrighty. That's it for the New York Football Giants. We'll be back with more of the NFC East later. Shout out to Rob Gaming. All of his links, his Twitches, everything will be in the description down below. And as always, folks, peace out.